Ladies and gentlemen, how would you feel if I told you now that someone had nicked your domain name? Well, that could happen very soon indeed, because all of the .cymru's are up for grabs very shortly. I wonder if you will buy yours, or will someone else buy yours? Would you please welcome from Eversheds Solicitors, Matthew Gough.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much. And apologies for the microphone. I didn't fancy one of those headsets, so I feel a bit old-fashioned now, but before I'd use the microphone. Just a bit of background. I'm going to just take about 10 minutes to tell you about how your domain names could be at threat with a real amazing development in the domain name world. Just a brief bit of background. I'm with the Eversheds law firm. I worked on one of the world's first internet banking projects in 1997. I helped Admiral acquire the elephant.com domain in 1998. So the digital world and the law has been around a long time. I'm not going to say anything more about Eversheds this afternoon. I just want to tell you about these very amazing developments over the next 10 minutes or so that those of you with businesses or those of you in the public sector can think about protecting your brand and in fact getting your brand even more out there with the use of .cymru and .wales. So just looking at my first slide, I've got 3 slides. The first slide there is talking about this major expansion that's taking place. If we look, about a year ago, there were 22 generic top-level domain names. So by that I mean things like .com, .net, .biz, even .museum. .museum has been a generic top-level domain. So there's 22 of those up until about a year ago. But what's happening now, ICANN have completely opened up the generic top-level domains. We're going to have about 1,000 new generic top-level domains in the next 12 months. And clearly the ones we're referring to today in particular are .cymru and .wales, but there's a whole host. We've got .book, .beauty, .legal, .rugby, so there's going to be a massive expansion of the available domain names for businesses. So as I say there, it's endless possibilities, because if you're something like Tesco, as well as having Tesco.com and Tesco.co.uk, you could have Tesco Beauty, Tesco Legal, Tesco Bank. It's endless. I think there's even a .coffee. So this has become a massive change. So I just wanted to spend 5 or 10 minutes talking to you about today are things you could be doing as businesses in Wales or businesses in the UK or wherever your business is to be aware of these 1,000 or so new opportunities and threats to your brand as well. That's what I just wanted to talk to you about today. And .cymru and .wales, it's already been launched, but it'll start in the early autumn, and by the 1st of March next year, a .cymru and .wales domain name should be available for everyone. So it's very, very topical, and it's going to shortly be with us. So just a very quick bit of background about trademarks and domain names. Trademarks are very important in protecting companies' reputation and goodwill. You can register them. They have to be distinctive, and they can protect different classes and different categories. For example, you've got your very well-known brands such as Nike, Adidas. So registered domain names protect the brand. Whereas if you look at domain names themselves, they're not trademarks per se, but they're actually a web address. So whilst a trademark is a registered right and it can exist and protect your reputation and goodwill, all a domain name is an address, but it's a very, very valuable address. If you think of something like insurance.com, that sold for $16 million 3 or 4 years ago. So whilst trademarks are something that protect your brands, domain names are web addresses, but they also can contain trademarks. So what I'm just trying to touch on that slide is the difference between trademarks and domain names, but the fact that very often, in the case of Amazon.com, Google.com and BBC.co.uk, you've got a trademark within a domain name. And in particular, if you've got a new business and you're thinking of having a domain name, you have to take great care, because a domain name can constitute trademark infringement. And when I talk on the next slide about the developments with .wales and .cymru, I'll talk about how you can start protecting your trademarks. But for example, going back 15 years ago when the internet was just starting, someone thought it'd be a brilliant idea to register all these domain names, all these famous brands as domain names. So someone went ahead and registered harrods.com, marksandspencers.com, ladbrokes.com. He registered all these names. And at the time, they hadn't even coined the phrase, but it was clearly cyber squatting. It was the very first episode of cyber squatting. And what happened, he was then charging the big brand owners thousands of pounds to buy back their brand so that they could use the domain names themselves. Because if he owned marksandspencers.com and he was registered in his name with ICANN, it meant that Marks and Spencers couldn't also have that domain name. And what the courts found then is that he'd registered the trademarks in bad faith. By going into the domain names and using those trademarks, those domain names were held in bad faith. So if you are going to start having new domain names, registering new domain names, you might think, I want to get there first. I want to register Tesco.Wales. Even if that was open for you, you'd have great difficulty because you would have a problem with the brand owner. But going on to the final slide, these are the practical steps you can take. If you're a brand owner or trademark owner at the moment, these are the practical steps you can take when we have these 1,000 new generic top-level domains going on the market. And the key thing you would need to do is approach the trademark clearinghouse. If you do have a registered trademark for your brand at the moment, you can go to the trademark clearinghouse and register your interest in that trademark. Because the trademark clearinghouse is there to allow you to register your interest when these 1,000 or so generic top-level domain names become available. If you're with the trademark clearinghouse, it means then you can take advantage of what's known as a sunrise period. For each of these generic top-level domains, there'll be a 60-day period or so where only the registered trademark holders can take advantage and register against that domain. So, for example, if you are Tesco's and you're very interested in Tesco.cymru, you'd register your interest in general in the trademark clearinghouse, and you can then pick off which top-level domains that you'd like. It could be Tesco.coffee, Tesco.bank, Tesco.Wales. So that's the most important thing you can do if you're a registered trademark holder. If you're not, after the first 60-day sunrise period expires, in the .Wales and .cymru case, there's a second 60-day period where people who've got unregistered brands that they're using can look to have the .Wales or .cymru trademark. So maybe you've never got round to registering a trademark, you've got a good business in Wales, you haven't got round to registering the trademark. That second 60-day sunrise period will allow you to seek to have a .Wales or .cymru domain then. If you miss those two 60-day periods, there's what's known as the land rush period. And that's another 60-day period where you can enter into a form of bidding to have a domain with .Wales or .cymru in, even if you haven't got registered rights. So this land rush period is then a 60-day period in which there may be some sort of auctioning taking place where you can then purchase a certain domain. After these three 60-day periods go, and we're hoping that'll be around the 1st of March next year, which is obviously St. David's Day, that's when the public at large can then register .Wales or .cymru. So that's just a very quick whistle-stop tour of what's needed. One interesting bit of trivia: if you, by mistake, you register .com, C-Y-M, you'll become a registrar with a domain name in the Cayman Islands. So be very careful. .com is the Cayman Islands, .cymru is one of the Welsh domains. So if you want further information about brand protection and the like, please contact myself or Eve at Eversheds. And if you'd like to know more about .cymru and .Wales, please look on those websites and please get in touch with Nominate, who are working very closely with the Welsh Government to promote .Wales and .cymru and who are promoting and administering these new domains. Thank you very much.